Stella.
We're loud here?
Well,
Sup,
yeah,
players?
it's always is. Hello, everyone. We are live.
Hi.
Thank you for joining us. We're just going to kind of hang out for a few minutes and let everyone get with us. Once we have our usual baker's dozen or so, we'll start a
Baker's
show.
Dungeon.
Uh-huh. That's what I meant. That's what I meant.
That's
a
where you
good
go
number.
when you get voted off the Bake Off show. You're like, go to the dungeon.
Go to the dungeon. The baker's dungeon. Oh, my God.
Go mill that flour.
Mr. Babineau was first again. Congratulations, Mr. Babineau. I don't think you have a streak, but it's nice that you're there. Ooh, Dan Diego's almost beat Matt.
Way to go.
And yeah, what happened to Maggie?
Maggie's not even fighting, and people are already fighting with her.
Maybe she thought she would, in the spirit of All Hallows Eve, that she would give him a break.
Yes, exactly. Hey, Nick. Thanks for being early, man. That's crazy.
Oh, man. Did you guys see that Bill Burr SNL where he just torched pumpkin beer? It was
awesome.
Crazy.
It was really fucking funny.
Yeah.
Is this the day you take a swing at your old man? It's the day of the day?
Yeah.
It's kind of sweet and shit, but there's nothing else to drink.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I loved how he opened it with his cast off the table. He pounded it and just popped the bottle.
That's right. All right. We've got plenty of people. Let's fire it up. Here we go. Hello and welcome to the Indie Beer Show. Tonight we are joined by Hopnonymous Brew Co. And also these laughable, wonderful, hilarious people that I get to hang out with all the time. Let's start with Estella.
Hi.
Why would you be wearing a Lakers jersey?
I don't know. I mean, I was up there when they won and the city came out. I remember the majority of the night. I will say that up until third quarter, maybe third period, something like that. But anyway, how are you guys doing?
We're doing great, man. Abel, congratulations on your fandom with the Stros. Very dramatic win, I hear.
Oh yeah, last minute walk-off home run by Carlos Correa. So that was pretty fun.
That is crazy.
But I did want to give a little shout out, rest in peace, as of today, Bar Pink.
Yeah,
is shutting down.
I know.
So I'm very sad about that, but rest in peace, Bar Pink.
Yeah,
I didn't even hear that. Oh, that's awful.
So it was bought. It's bought by Consortium Holdings. Yeah,
so many nights I don't remember. I spent well there.
That's awesome.
Oh man, so many Pabst Blue ribbons and shots. Yeah.
That's right.
Mr. Hernandez, have we ever had a bigger news day? This week is going to be crazy off the hook with the amount of news, so make sure you guys stick around for that chicken segment.
Yeah, tons of things happening. Believe it or not, I pulled a giant scoop back yesterday because there were some things. But, I mean, if you would have thrown that one on top, the world might have imploded. So maybe it's good that it didn't. Yeah,
maybe it was too much for one day, and the universe said, "Nah, we're gonna wait." But so our guest of tonight, the head brewer of Hopnonymous, please introduce yourself to us, sir. And also, even though your title is head brewer, what does that mean? What do you actually do at Hopnonymous?
Well, thank you very much for having me on your show, guys. I really appreciate it. As a head brewer of a nano brewery, I wear a lot of hats. Janitor is my favorite one that I like to say.
Right.
So not only making the beer, but also beer tending a lot, doing a lot of PR with people, general upkeep of the tap system, not to mention everything, all the fun stuff that goes into brewing with grain order and malt and hop inventory. So it's a lot of fun. I spent most of my career in very large production breweries, where you don't really have a say in what's going on. And now that I have what I like to call is a glorified homebrew kit, my 3.5 barrel, I get to have a lot of fun, which is really nice for me. I really enjoy it a lot.
Right on.
That's rad, man.
Fun is fun.
Fun is fun. And speaking of fun, the first beer we're going to try is called Remission Possible. So,
right.
why don't you tell us about this beer, and also tell us how this collab worked out with Mujeres Brew House
Hi.
and Estella.
So I actually met Estella for the first time at a beer festival before COVID happened.
Yeah.
In the good old days of the old normal.
A Star Wars beer festival at that.
Well, so I actually didn't meet you at that one. I met you with Brandon, where we did a little. We never like face-to-face talk.
At Mission
at
Mountain?
the fest. Yeah.
Oh.
You came by, but we didn't talk. You just were enjoying the beer and kept going back and forth to us and Lasky.
That doesn't sound like us at all, Brandon.
What?
I think he's spewing lies about it.
I think he was one of the first breweries we went to. We just really were enamored with what we had. We're like,
yeah,
that's pretty good. I need more.
Yeah. But so the whole beer idea actually came about. So it's not just a two-way collab. It's actually a collab that included my mother.
Yes.
And so the whole point of the beer was back in August, my mom told me that her 27-year cancer-free remission of being cancer-free was in the first week of September. And I was like, you know what, Mom? I got my own place finally. Like, let's celebrate. Let's make a beer in honor of breast cancer awareness. She's not a huge beer person, so I thought, you know what? She really likes the sours that I make. Why don't we do like a blend of the sour, like imperial base with our Attitude Era, which is one of our popular West Coast double IPAs. My mom was stoked, and so I wanted to also, since breast cancer is mostly women's, like a disease that women are affected by, I wanted to invite some women from the industry, and I had heard that Estella was starting up the Mujeres Brew House, and I had met her. She was super nice at the festival. I was like, why don't I invite them in, and we'll just make this like a nice, well-rounded collab. And so we made the beer that came in. It was nice having a set of 5 cans, watching other people go in besides me.
We just got in the way. We just got in the way,
okay.
Hunter. Seriously.
No, it's fine. You guys managed to open the grain bags. It was pretty good. And so we're like making the beer. I'm asking them like, so it's an imperial sour. What are we thinking flavor wise? And so we ended up talking about like maybe raspberry and pink guava. They'll have like a nice tartness added from the fruit, a little sweetness from the guava. And then we dry hopped it with Citra at around like 3 pounds per barrel. And then the beer finished out at around 8.2. Super crushable. At 8% beer, you would not guess that it has that much ABV in it.
Yeah.
Those raspberries hide it.
Yeah,
that's so fruity.
You know, if you want to taste booze, you can go and buy a pint of Jack Daniels. Like, if you want to enjoy your beer, you want to be able to like sip through it and not feel like you're drinking too much. It was an honor for me, and we've actually had a lot of people come in who like tell us our stories about it. We had another customer come in and was like, oh, you know, I just went through breast cancer in 2013, super hard. And I explained what happened to my mom. And my mom, when she went through it, they had to take her left breast first. And then a couple months later, almost like a year, they're like, you know what? We think the other one might also have some cancer lumps in it, so we're gonna have to take your right one as well. And for her, that was super hard. You know, you go through all that just to have to go through it all over again. And so I wanted to help raise awareness to this. And at least, you know, we're a small brewery. We're not going to raise like $1 million, but I want to do what I could because family is super important to me. And, you know, you can't really replace your mom and her importance in your life. So I just want to do something for all the stuff she's done for me.
Dude,
And by the way,
wonderful
his
tribute.
mom was there the day that we brewed the beer. She's awesome. I asked her to tell me her story. Incredible. And, you know, the fact that she had to go through this when her kids were so young is just crazy. How old were you when you had...
I was 4, but she was, so the way she actually found it, she was breastfeeding my brother at, when he was just about 1. And so she like felt on her chest and was like, that's not a normal like, And then so she went to the doctor. So she had to stop breastfeeding my brother when he was 1. And then the whole long battle, luckily for her, she never lost her hair through any of the chemo and stuff. She kept the full hair. But she is very happy about it because she really cares about her hair.
It is, it is difficult, regardless to even if it was just a broken leg that you just recovered from, and then you broke your other leg, that would suck. But once you add in the you know, the actual fight for survival with cancer involved, kudos to your mom for making it through 2 major battles of her life, and what a wonderful tribute to your mom and your family, and just in general, supporting a cause that can use the assistance.
And so actually the beer, once we totally sold out, we're going to take 10% of the total sales of the beer and donate it to a woman here in San Diego. Now we have some people who have reached out and kind of gave us some ideas of who we want to do it for. I personally don't want to give directly to a charity or GoFundMe, because I just want the whole amount to go to the person. Because, you know, charities only give around like 20 to 40%. They also have a lot of costs that go into running a business. It's still a business. And so giving the whole amount to someone, especially because, like I said, we're super small and we're not going to raise like a ton of money, but I want to give all that I can to someone in need.
That's a very touching tribute,
awesome.
and really
a great deal to them.
And just another example, continuing to underline just how supportive of their community craft beer can be. Thank you for being what's right about beer. Thank you. I really appreciate it. And now let's talk about the actual. Go ahead, Estella.
I just wanted to say on behalf of Mujeres, I want to thank you because you were so kind to me and the girls the day that we went to make this beer with you, and you were so patient with us because we had 2 girls that had actually never brewed, and they were just psyched to be able to do everything from start to finish, and you literally were just like walking them step by step, which is friggin' awesome, dude. So I say thank you. We are gonna have the beer at Mujeres when we open as well.
Yes, I have 2 cakes set aside for you in the fridge with your name on them.
Thank you, sir. Nice. Thank you. I'll pick those up if they're in your way. No worries. I put them in my cold box. But yeah, honestly, thank you so much. Like the girls, we showed up for the day that we released it, and you know, it was a great time. It was really packed there, dude. Like in the time of COVID, like all with social distancing and everything. But I mean, it was rad. So you know, thank you so much for including us in this, man. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, the hardest part of the day was trying to get the adobo finished for you guys.
He made us lunch. He made the best chicken adobo. Like all of us were like, dude, we got to do more collabs here because this is everyone's doing it.
That's awesome, man. That's really cool. So let's talk the actual beer. Massive Citra punch right in your face as soon as you get your nose anywhere near the glass. incredibly aromatic, man. You really, I think
So
you said
good.
3 pounds per barrel in the dry hop.
Yeah. So it
I
was once the yield came, it was about a 20-pound dry hop of Citra. I have 7-barrel tanks. We got about like 9-ish, 10 kegs back.
yes, rad. Instead of 15, if you're lucky, but at least 14.
I wish that would be beautiful. We normally, with the way that for hopping, especially beers, we get about 11 to 12 on the 7-barrel fermenter. But I also do like high 2 to 3 pounds per barrel dry hops for most of the IPAs and especially hazy beers.
Yeah.
Did you guys see the color on this?
Yeah,
Like, I don't know how
it's
well you can
beautiful.
see it in here, but yeah. Okay, there
show
you go.
them again so that they can see.
Like,
yes, it's really got a like a almost a hazy murkiness to it, but drinks way smaller than 8.2. This is an ABV smuggler. It will definitely sneak up on you. And the what I really like that you didn't overdo it with the fruit. Raspberry, you can really overdo it kind of easily.
Yeah.
So well done, balanced, great, love it.
The night of the release, I had a lady walk up to me, and she's like, "I love the beer. They told me you're one of the ones that helped me." And I was like, "Thank you. I've had 4." I'm like, "Oh no." Like, do you know it's a pretty strong? No, she told me, she goes, "I didn't drive. My husband drove."
That's good.
But
That's really good.
But yeah, I just thought that was so
She
funny.
told all 4 versions of you that she saw in front of her. She didn't drive.
I had a good time. I had a good time. That's right. Let's do some housekeeping. Of course, Mr. Papineau was first again. It's not really that much of a... It's really just between him and Maggie. Strata San Diego's. Hi, Nick. Thanks for joining us, man. Daniel Womack, thanks for joining us, indeed. Matt, if you guys... want to go onto our Facebook page, check out the discussion in this event posting. Matt made his own goddamn brisket sandwich, and it looks fucking delightful. If DoorDash services your house, Matt, please let me know. I will place an order. That's rad. He points out that of course, the brew system where you guys are used to be Council Brewing, and so yes, that brew system has seen an incredible amount of traffic, and then of course he noticed the mug I've been drinking out of.
Sweet.
And so
Look
what
at that.
So this is the Indie Beer Show Mug Club member mug. So for the people that are our Mug Club members, they just came in this week. We'll be getting them shipped out, arranged pickups and things like that over the next week or so. For people that were a Mug Club member last year and still are, you're going to get 2 to make up a little bit, because we ran into COVID and we weren't able to really kind of keep up with our exclusive content promise. And so I'm making up for it with a cool fucking mug. So you'll have a set.
Unlike exclusive content, I can't mess this up for you. These are great mugs.
That's right. That is so awesome. And hello, Joseph. Thanks for joining us, man. I really appreciate you jumping in. So, Hunter, the most important question that we're going to ask you all night: what is the beer that sparked your love of craft and kind of started you on your journey?
Well, so
I know, heavy.
When I was 18, I found a liquor store that thought I was 21.
Allegedly.
Yeah, I won't name names.
He was in Mexico, you guys. He was in Mexico. It's fine. It was legal.
I was drinking much younger in Mexico.
You mean Chula Vista?
Chula Vista. Yeah, Chula Vista.
But I was just kind of like going through the stuff, and I saw Gordon Biersch, the blonde box, and like at my house, my dad would have like Pacifico or like Foster's, or he's kind of a dark beer guy, so sometimes he gets a double chocolate stout from Young.
Yeah, classic.
Yeah, when you're shopping at Trader Joe's, you don't have as many options back then. But then I saw the blonde bock, and I was like, It sounds great. Like I like kind of like clear, lighter beers, and of course, when you're 18, you just look straight at the alcohol on the label, and I saw it was like 7.8, like 7.8, something like that, and I tried it, and it tasted amazing. It did not taste like a Foster's. And I was like, oh wow, like this is actually enjoyable. Like, you know, you're also as an 18-year-old drinking like Old English, or not to say that I don't like Mickey still as an adult.
Gotta watch out for that hornet.
Yeah, you get stung.
That hornet stings, bro. That hornet stings.
But I really liked it, and then I got a job at a brew pub, and like after that, just kind of like busting tables till I was 21, and I saw the brewer, and you know, he would always come in, and he'd be gone by like the time I was like rolling silverware to get ready for my shift, and he seemed to really kind of enjoy himself. Like it wasn't like a job for him. He was like coming in, I'd watch him brew, and he'd just like hang out and chill, and like it just seemed like relaxing, especially at that age. You know, you really don't know what you want to do, and I was like, this seems like a cool like industry to get into, and I basically waited till I was 21. I was still in college, and I went and got a job at Ballast Point back in 2000, like 11ish, 2000, like early 2012. And that's kind of where I got my start.
So you got your brewing start at Ballast Point. Was that your first job there? Did you have to work into brewing?
Oh yeah, God no. I was on that bottling line.
I was gonna say normally you don't just start brewer.
No, I don't know anyone at Ballast Point to just top the line like that. I actually was on the bottling line. So this is the Scripps Ranch one. Before they did any major upgrades, I still kind of have nightmares about it. It's like 5 dudes holding empty 24 packs, and the guy in front of you is like counting the 24, and then another 24. Then you have to slide in and grab bottles, and like you're getting yelled at by the pit boss who's running the line because you're like screwing up the count, and so people aren't able to get their bottles in the boxes. And it was fucking like 11 months of that until I finally got like keg wash.
Wait.
Real relaxing industry you got into.
Keg washing was the promotion?
Yes.
That's rad.
Damn.
And then from there, I left Ballast Point and I went to Coronado in 2013. I did keg wash there for a little bit and slowly started just kind of making my way up the ladder, I guess you would say. I met Ryan Brooks, who's probably been the biggest impact on my brewing career. He wasn't upset when I asked him questions. He'd guide me through what was going on. If I said like, hey, you know, what if we put this ingredient in a beer? And he's like, cool, go make a cask and try it out. Because we're not going to do that. But,
sorry, the fact that Colby just commented had me dying.
What'd he say?
He said BP proud, BP nightmare. As in I'm sure he understands that stress. For sure.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah, but so yeah,
So
I basically worked my way up through there. I got to in charge of running the cellar. I had a lot of tasks, cleaning tanks, dry hopping, carbonating, all the stuff post brewing that really gets no glory,
but might be more important.
It's the most important because there's a lot of ways you can screw that beer up in just a split second by doing something wrong. And so I was actually at Coronado for almost 5 years. I left that around like 4 1/4 to go to McKellar, San Diego. They were opening up. It was still pretty small. There was only Billy Batten, Billy Alesmith, Giggles, and Daniel Cady, and then a couple of cellar guys. and Jacobo was also like cellar brewing at that time. Spent a couple months doing like cellar work. Got pushed into the warehouse, which super fun.
Yeah.
For a large production brewery like that. And then finally, after a little bit, they let me get up on the brew deck. I had gotten some time at Coronado on the brew deck because I had been switched to overnights, but never like, here you go, like, here's the sheet, don't fuck it up. And then I did that for about a year and a half, almost 2 years out there. Had one of the best experiences of my life getting sent to Copenhagen to do the MBCC. And before that, we got to do, we set up a collab actually right as Beavertown was selling out to Heineken. So like I get to London, we go to do the collab, and the guy who's like the brewer who's supposed to be showing me around is like, leaves me constantly all days like, dude, I have these meetings, like, here's some beer, the guys are going to talk to you, but I gotta go. And then like he does that probably like 5 or 6 times, and finally at the end of the day we're all just sitting outside having beers, and he's like, we did it. And I'm like, what? He's like, we sold the Heineken for a shitload of money.
Wow. I mean, at least he was straight with you.
I was like, that's cool, man. Is the beer still gonna come out? And you know, we kept drinking, and they're like, what are we gonna name this? And you know, working for McKellar, they had a lot of pun names, and I was like, we were like Merc something, and then I was like, what about Merkin 9 to 5?
Nice.
That's a good name. That's a good name, yeah.
And so it was like a wheat hazy-ish IPA. They called it like a white hazy IPA. But yeah, they sent us some. It was pretty good. But the Denmark experience was amazing. I got to meet so many super rad brewers from like the hype scene, who a lot of them don't have that, like, where you would expect someone who's like, yeah, I sell out all my beers first day of canning. Really, they're not at all pretentious. Like, and my favorite guys to hang out with were the Hoof-Hearted boys.
Nice.
They don't take themselves serious at all. They take beer super serious, but like them, they're just like hanging out. Like after the fest, like we all just hung out together and just like went and checked out Copenhagen, checked out Christiana Town. That was a trip and awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then after, shortly after I came back, a couple months later, I left, got a job at Hess, which was cool. But they weren't looking for a brewer at the time. So I kind of was relegated to like canning line cellar tech. And then I finally got on the brew deck because one of their employees was leaving, and I brewed there for about 4 months. You know, I wasn't super happy. I mean, the people and environment is great, but for me, at myself, I was like, I'm ready to branch out. Like McKellar, we made a ton of different beer recipes.
Like 3 different beers a week, if I remember correctly.
Well, so that hellscape, we released 130-ish beers in 1 year.
1 year.
Good Lord.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Well, and what's funny is that doesn't count repeat batches. That's 130 different beers.
Oh yeah, Wendy Hill was mixed into that like rotation very frequently. And I mean, yeah, we had a ton of like sour bottles and barrel aged stuff that Dan had like crafted. So it wasn't always like directly coming from the brew house. But yeah, it definitely made you nervous when they're like, hey, we're only brewing one of these, so don't fuck this recipe up.
Get it right.
Yeah. And then, yeah, so, you know, I wanted to do something on my own. I had my own ideas. I actually had a couple of personal recipes released at McKellar, which was cool. My favorite one was Mr. Manager, which is a reference to my favorite TV show, Rest Development. But yeah, so I was online one day and I came across Indeed. I just had updates to tell me when brewer jobs were opening. And I saw this posting for Hopnonymous, and I saw where it was, and I knew that the brew house itself was nice and small, so there's like a lot of control for what you're doing, which is what I really wanted to do. So I found Remy online back in 2019. We had our first interview in like April, and then they hired me on in June.
Nice.
That's rad, man. And it's really cool when we hear these stories about people that paid their fucking dues and earned their position. And
Oh, yeah.
it's really cool to hear that, and that also that you knew it was a job you were interested in because you knew who had been there before and the size of the brew house. I'm sure you also knew that the brew house was going to be in good condition. You weren't walking into a shit show, of course.
Well, yeah.
The past brewery took very good care of their stuff. So, so speaking of, you took over council. Did you guys just get that main facility? Did you get what we used to call the Magic Factory, the sour room, and all of that other stuff from council?
No, we got a couple pieces of equipment. Luckily, the keg wash.
Yeah.
However, when I first came on, I asked Remy about his business model, and when he said that they had offered him the magic room, I said, well, to be honest, the way that we're going to run this company, souring beer that's going to sit for a long time really isn't in the window yet. Nowadays, that's kind of changing. Now we're kind of switching our model more towards hoping for a second tasting room instead of distributing beers. Fingers crossed on that one. And plus, the magic room had a lot of souring. Stuff that I didn't really know what was in there. A lot of plastic, which isn't as easy to clean out some of those bugs.
And then, there was a gap. There was a significant gap where those products weren't maintained. They may not have been serviceable. We don't know.
Oh, yeah. So we passed on it. And it was actually supposed to be like a kombucha like brewery. And then the landlord basically scared the guy away because he told everyone, including us, when we purchased the place, that in a year he's going to pull the lease from everyone because he's going to turn this complex into apartments.
Just to make you feel better,
The zoning change.
the landlord's been saying that for 7 years.
Yeah.
I know other tenants in the building.
Yeah. The best part is his biggest tenant got really upset this last time. Pack Rim.
Yeah, giant company.
Humongous. He came back and he's like, city says I'm not zoned. So we're probably not going to tear it down. And they're like, cool, we're moving to Miramar. The rent's cheaper. Good luck filling all these slots. And so they're out. They're out soon. And it's like the amount of Pack Rim guys that come in here, it's a humongous company. And so we have about 18 months from November from here to find another location, or we might try and ask him, San Diego's not going to change the zoning on this place. So we might just try and keep the location and get a bigger brewing facility.
That's cool. And I hope the future is as bright as it feels now, or maybe even brighter if we come out of COVID at the same kind of transitioning time for you guys. Maybe it'll all work out and you'll have an increase in business and it'll be easy to open another location, man. I hope that for you guys.
Yeah. Me and Remy always joke, we're like, because the business we opened right before COVID, it's like, if we can survive this, we can pretty much get through anything.
I would think so. That's really cool. And so speaking of, one of the special things about Hopnonymous is you guys call yourselves a private label producer. So yes. Can you kind of tell people that may not know what that is and how is it integral to your business?
And so when we first came on, Remy had been distributing beers that he had contracted. and he didn't have a brewer. And obviously, when you do that, you have to. It's a big purchase. Your margins are not great. And so when I came on, we wanted to start making our own beers in-house, but having them be privately labeled, which basically is, I don't know if you've ever been to Buena Frechetta, but we make the blonde and the IPA for them. And so what we do is I craft the recipe, and then we sell it to them. And we have a kid, I say kid, he's like 23. But there's a guy in South Carolina who has a 3D printer that we did some stuff with or partnered up with. And so we'll actually brand out a tap handle specifically for the company. Like we have for the Buena Frechetta, they're like oven, like a nice stone tile pizza oven is like the top of the tap, and then it says Frechetta on it, and our little logo is like on the side because we have to do that legally. We also did the same thing for Crazy Burger, who's actually one of our original and almost first client that we ever had. But what's cool about Crazy Burger is they actually like writing Hopnonymous and not making it private anymore because they're like proud of the beer that they're getting. They want to kind of help us back out.
That's cool.
Cool. Yeah.
But we'll do that for any company. We have about 4 styles of beer that we do as our like main contract or contract type beers for private labels. Plan of Attack, which is like our 2013 Harken Back IPA, little Crystal 60, some Simcoe and Chinook. Nice piney little lemon resin note. We have our bringing Blondie back, a nice traditional American blonde. Then we have a hazy, which kind of rotates depending on what hops I have on hand. Malt base is the same, but the hops kind of fluctuate.
Okay.
And then we have our, our Blinded by the Light. Blinded by the Light is San Diego style IPA, I guess. It has almost no specialty malt, just like 3%. Yeah. And then it's just guided by Michigan, Chinook, and Mosaic.
I got to get my hands on that. I'm a big Chinook guy, so that's
right.
But let's catch up with the audience real fast. Welcome, Maggie. Yes, she also commented later that it's late where she is. It's 10 o'clock. Yeah. Welcome, Claudette. Nice to see you.
Hey, that's my mom.
I was going to say, related to you? Excellent. It's your mom. Hi. And then, speaking of family, this is my niece, Shyla Day, who's an incredible singer. Go check her out, ShylaDay.com. Nice to see you, lady. Thanks for joining us.
Hello.
So it's time for our top 3. And this week we decided to let's talk about Halloween and our favorite things about Halloween. Yeah. And so we're going to start with Estella. What is your 3rd favorite thing about Halloween, lady?
Okay, so it's been well established. I like scary things. I'm not about it. I don't watch scary movies and that stuff. But I love to see Halloween decorations. I love it when people decorate their house, go all out. If your house looks really scary and you invite me to trick or treat in there, I will not. Thank you much, but I'm not gonna walk there. Me and kids were like, nope, a whole lot of nope right there. But home decorations, all about it. I freaking love it. So I'm not doing Halloween decorations in my house this year because I'm doing Day of the Dead, which apparently, Brian, you saw the post, and now it kind of got out of control.
Yeah, in the Normal Heights local Facebook group, Estella posted that she's going to go extra large with her Dia de los Muertos altar, and our neighborhood latched onto this, and now you have no choice. You got too much interest, so now it's got to be over the top.
So now it's going to be like my putting down into the sidewalk. So it's like a room because I invited the neighborhood to come and bring a picture or memento of a loved one that has passed, and it's not a religious thing. It's a very cultural thing for us. But I usually do a very small one inside my house. I decided to go larger here just because I want to go a little bit larger. And so, yeah, there'll be Dia de los Muertos flags hanging inside my house from the tree to my porch, so everybody can clearly see where it's at. And it's going to be great.
So,
It's gonna be great.
if you want to contribute to the altar,
Yeah.
Estella's on Mead, close to 39th. So
Exactly.
you could find the altar and contribute if you would like it. That's awesome, lady. That's
And
great.
she's
Yeah,
gonna
I'm
have
putting it up-
she's gonna have a giant spotlight, so you'll be able to see it from anywhere.
Yeah, the spotlight will say "Madrina de cerveza."
Exactly.
All the lights.
Gotta have, like,
Fireworks
a
are
bat
going off
signal.
every night.
Yes, turn on the beer signal for
Exactly,
Estella.
it's a beer signal. It's the beer
That's right.
signal. So yeah,
That's
Also,
awesome,
bring
lady.
beer.
yeah. Everybody that wants to drop off beer there, I'll take beer. Because people asking me what do we bring, and I'm like, whatever you like. I kind of love beer. Whatever you want to put on there, go for it. Oh, yeah.
I'll pour one out. The rest is mine.
Yes. Yeah. Remember when you're pouring one out for the homies, that's like a sip. The rest
Yeah.
is name it.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly.
Just a dab.
Sorry. Yeah.
All right. All right, Abel, your third favorite thing about the Halloween.
It has to do with my father. His birthday is the day before Halloween, so every year we get pumpkin pie. So I'm always look forward to pumpkin pie every year around this time. So
Do you have a favorite place to get them?
no, we used to just get him anywhere back in the days. My dad was funny about it because he would sit there and say, "Oh, I don't like pumpkin pie," and we get it to him for his birthday cake. We never got him a cake; we just got him pumpkin pie, and then we would catch him later on, a couple hours later, he's in the fridge like he's eating out of the pan in the fridge door open, and we're like, "Bro, you like pumpkin pie?"
Yeah.
That is
I'm
awesome,
pretty
man.
partial to Costco because it's really big. It's really good too. Going from Costco is delicious.
You know,
Yeah, it really
it's kind
is.
of hard to beat Costco on any food
Yeah.
thing. They
Yeah.
do pretty well there. They do pretty well.
Yeah.
So when Halloween comes around, I always think of pumpkin pie. That's one of my things.
That's awesome, man. And,
Dude.
another great story about your father, man. That's cool.
Yeah.
Did you want to play, Hunter?
Sorry.
I said, did you want to play?
Yeah, yeah.
So this
I
would be
love
your-
Number
Halloween.
3.
It's
Their
it's
third
actually
favorite
my
thing.
favorite holiday.
Excellent.
I love Halloween because it's a great time of year where you're actually allowed to scare people.
Yes.
And
See, I don't like that, Hunter. I don't like that one.
I'm gonna have to come around.
No. Really, I'm good. I'm good. Thanks. I'm good.
Like everyone starts wanting to watch. I love horror movies too, and everyone starts wanting to watch them again. And
Yep.
you know, it's also a good time to like hang out with your family and watch a really terrible slasher movie from the '80s.
Absolutely.
So you mean
Great.
Nightmare Before Christmas? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Sure.
That's a-
Yeah, that's what I'm there.
That's awesome.
Frank
The
and
uncut version of Toy Story 3.
That's right. All right, Brandon. What about you? What's your number 3, sir?
I think it's 100 grand because there's only one day a year I ever see them. There's only one day a year I ever think about them. And they come in the little 4 variety pack that my wife gets. And I'm like, these are good. In my mouth, out of mind. I don't think about them for another 364 to 365. But
I got
fun
my
that one night.
my two candy bar fix. I'm done.
Yeah, and
That's
I
bad.
like almond joy throughout the year, but that is also the only night that I ever eat them. Is Halloween.
Really? Those
No,
are
I
like
know
2 of my
that's-
favorite candies.
Because they're great, right? Like all
Yes.
night Halloween, that's what I'm eating, unless there's Twix, because Twix are good enough that I
Or
think
Kit
about them
Kats.
throughout the year.
Kit Kats.
I'm a Reese's guy.
Uh,
Reese's. Yeah.
Peanut butter. Blue.
I'm not a
Get
wafer
outta
guy. I'm not a wafer guy. All right.
Oh,
like
okay.
I like nougat and things that are
Nougats.
bold and expressive. And you like
Okay.
you just gained a whole pound because they're so heavy.
Hey, boys, have a good night.
Kit Kat's like the American adjunct lager of candy.
Oh, jeez.
It's just like
Start the-
somehow.
We're going to start the great chocolate debate here, Brandon. Great. Good.
It's very close. It's very close.
But anyway, so 100 grand has to be my number.
That's awesome, man. For me, it's really in line kind of with what Hunter said. And with scary people, mine was just haunted houses in general. Especially the professional ones that we have here in San Diego are really, really good. This year, not so much. There's a
That
drive-through one in
haunted
Del Mar.
hotel is awful. Oh,
It's awesome. You misspelled really good time.
no. Like, no.
Also, Knott's Berry Farm puts on this incredible freaking haunted house fest.
Not Scary
this-
Farm.
Not Scary Farm. Not this year, obviously,
Uh-huh.
but in years when you can actually be in a maze with haunted people. And really, the costumes and the haunted house stuff is really
Yeah.
cool. But my favorite part about it is watching my wife and my friends and my other family members cower in fear and shaking on the ground when the
Yeah.
right person scares them in the right way. So just
So they're
very
doing
good
they're doing a drive-through one at
Yes,
the
at
Del
Del
Mar
Mar.
Fairgrounds, and I hear it's terrifying.
Well,
I did have a couple of my friends went. They
Well,
said
I mean,
it was
that's judging
really,
from
really
you.
bad.
Come on now, girl.
No. My friends went. I did not go. There's no way I would go to that.
So you're probably Frankenweenie. The movie scared you.
I told you guys, I can't do that. I can't.
I think I know what this drive up one is like. They probably just kick the whole thing off by scaring the crap out of you. You show up, they're like, "Oh, I'm sorry, you need a COVID test to come in." They give you one, they're like, "Oh, you have COVID." "Oh no!" I'm just kidding.
that
was
joke.
scary.
Well, so that we can save this show, it's time for beer number 2.
Hello.
And it's called Return of the Mac. And
You're not gonna sing it? You're not gonna sing that part? I mean, you should sing
Come on, Teddy Riley.
I've never heard said song. I'm sorry.
What?
What?
You never heard the song?
If there's not power chords in it, I probably haven't heard it. And that's just a rule of life that you can go by in general. But anyways, Hunter, please break down the beer, what we're about to put in our mouth.
And what Mac
All right,
stands for?
so MAC stands for Motueka and Citra.
Ooh.
And so when
I
I
like
brew,
this one.
a lot of times I'm by myself, so I get to crank the music up. And I had on All Out 90s while I was playing. I heard a song by Mark Morrison, who I thought was American, but apparently he's British.
What?
And he is British. I had to look it up because people told me, they're like, "Yeah, he's from London." I'm like, "No, he's not. You hear that song? It's an American dude singing." And I'm like, so for us, a lot of our beer names are like random references, some pop culture stuff. But I wanted to make a hoppy pilsner, personally for me, because it was like early summer. I'm working a lot. I can't just be drinking 7% IPAs
There you go.
all day while I'm working. And so I made this wonderful 4.9
That's what
dry
it
hop pilsner. It's 100% Skagit malt, which is a maltster from the North PNW.
Yeah.
Eric is a rep down here. He's fucking amazing. I told him I needed pilsner, and he literally drove it here in a U-Haul truck the next day.
Nice.
Wow.
And shout out to Fall for hooking me up with some boudoir yeast
Nice.
for this. Greg and Dan. But it's all pilsner, just like a super small splash of honey malt and flake barley for some nice head retention. And then in the Whirlpool, it had like a bittering addition of Cascade, and the Whirlpool about a pound of Motueka and Citra. And for the dry hop, I did a 2.5 pound Citra and 2.5 Motueka addition. And I didn't want it to be like overtly hoppy, because I wanted it to be distinguished from like our IPAs. Like, so I've had hoppy pilsners before, and I'm like, it's kind of like a diet IPA. Like, they just didn't want to call it a session IPA. And so I just wanted like a nice light touch of citrus, like a little bit of grapefruit from the Motueka. and I also wanted something to drink, and so I made it 4.9 ABV because it gets super hot. I don't know if you've ever had the pleasure of standing in front of a direct fire brew house.
It's warm.
Cool. How hot was it that day? First of all,
It was 100 outside. It was like 115, 120 by the brew house.
Easy.
Yeah.
Lord.
yeah, yeah.
And let me
all of
tell
us
you, the
were
ventilation in a
sweating.
warehouse is not good.
Oh no, we don't put fans over by there because the fan kind of messes with the heat.
Yeah.
Because it's like a not shielded flame, and so it's like, well, you just better suck it up for an hour all the time.
Yeah. So the mill is actually outside. He moves it outside when you're, and I was like, can we move the canopy here? And they were like, oh yeah, let's do that. And I was like, thank you. At least we're in shade now, because it was like the hottest day. And I was like, and then we're standing next to open flame, and he's like, don't step back because you're gonna burn yourself. And I'm like, oh shit, okay.
Oh wait, this shit is hard and dangerous. Who knew?
No, it all just comes out of the tap. There's no work.
Yeah.
There's no work at all.
Oh man, that's awesome.
Yeah, and it's just I actually really love pilsners. For beer styles, for me, I'm a lager pilsner guy, and then like, occasionally I like to drink IPAs. But like one of my favorite pilsners in town is Hopnonymous Paris. Super crushable. I love that beer, and that's kind of where I was like, it's got like a nice noble hop. What if we just did like a nice kind of American style hopping to it? You know, bring a little different notes, but still kind of in that range of like still super crushable.
And you nailed what you're talking about. It's got just enough of a pilsner quality at the end after you get the initial hop punch in your face.
Yeah.
Really good, and
it's really bright.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's like really bright.
It's got the tickly on your tongue, the whole thing. Yeah, it's excellent. And I didn't really expect this, but the aroma qualities of these beers are, maybe all of them, I'll let the people know in the future, in this freaking indie beer show mug are hitting me great. I'm shocked.
Better than a tulip.
Yes, absolutely. Way better.
So much better than a tulip.
Screw your tikus. Like, get yourself an indie beer show like that. Just kidding.
They break real easily anyway.
Right? Oh, don't look at an IPA glass or a Teco wrong. It'll shatter
just
your hand.
crack on you right there.
Yeah.
I love all the new glasses now. People like drinking hazies out of like a cereal milk bowl. And I'm like, they're like, it's all about the aroma. I'm like, are you sure?
Because in a bowl, the aroma is going to last for about 4.2 seconds.
Yeah.
And it's off gas on. But so earlier you mentioned that nothing seems like work once the beer's coming out of the tap. So speaking of that, how many beers do you guys have available currently?
Right now we have 17 beers on tap.
What?
18
Crazy.
will be on. Actually, let me take that back. I tapped the hazy IPA today. We're supposed to release it on Friday, but we had a ton of customers in here while I was getting ready who were asking us about our hazy, if we had one. And so I was like, I'm just going to put it on tap and let people have it. The last one we did sold out in like 6 weeks, draft only. And that was like our literally best selling in the time frame wise, like we've ever had. And so we've been out of a hazy for about a week and a half. And so right now we'll have 18 beers. After next week, it'll be 19. And then I think in the next 3 weeks, we'll have about 20 to 21 beers on tap.
Wow.
And we do have seltzer on. It was probably the best seltzer I've had. No, I'm not embarrassed of that, bro. Like,
it's
seriously.
Gone. It's gone. I have to remake it.
Dang it. It was delicious.
It's gone. Wink, wink.
It's called Look Super Dank.
It's called
Look
what?
Super Dank. Look Super Dank. It's
Super
a
dank.
double
What's
dry
the
hop
ABV?
hazy, 7.2. A 7.2. I actually called it "Looks Super Dank" because I want to hear people ask for the beer in the acronym.
Yes, LSD, please.
Yeah.
What?
I'm gonna add it to the beer news site since I can get the survey.
So
Yeah, it's
I was gonna say
Look at him. He's typing away right now.
live working while we're
Full
on the
service.
show.
He's on Instagram. Beep 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 beep. Right now.
Also, that beer name
This just
reminds me of this really cool thing that I saw a brewer complaining about once, and this was 2 or 3 years ago when hazies were really kind of taking off. He described someone came in, got a taster glass of the new hazy of the day, held it up, took a picture, said, "It looks fucking dope, bro," set it on the fucking counter and walked out. Never even tasted it, but posted it on Instagram and said it looked fucking great. So that beer name really hits that. That's really cool, man.
Picker, it didn't happen, dude. Picker, it
right?
didn't happen. You know,
Exactly.
like, all that was.
So I think earlier you said that you have 4 of your beers are in the private label area.
yes,
Are those available at your tasting room to taste?
yes.
Okay.
"Looks Super Dank" is not one of the hazies in rotation, just because it's double dry hop with a dollop of lactose for sweetness, and it's a Citra, Sabro, and Simcoe IPA. Try and get a good lighting on it, but we normally use
Put
a
the
different.
light behind.
We normally use a different one, but Plan of Attack is always on tap. That's kind of turning into one of our core beers that we have. Bring It Blondie Back is also always on tap because I love drinking it and I refuse to let blonde beers die.
Yes. Power to the blonde.
And then Blinded by the Light kind of switches around. We have another style of restaurant IPA, but I like to mix it up. So the second restaurant IPA is called Party Like a Flock Star. And so that is kind of similar to Plan of Attack in color and hopping. It just doesn't have as much Simcoe and Chinook as like our house beers would. We keep like the restaurant ones at around 1.5 pounds to almost 2 pounds dry hop or pounds per barrel of hop.
Nice.
And it's also like, we're super new still. So I like to have a lot of rotating turnover beers and not just have like a set core, because especially in San Diego, I mean, I lost count of how many damn breweries we have now. It was like 170 a month or so ago.
150 something.
Currently is.
Yeah.
Currently, yeah.
Yeah.
And now if you count tasting rooms, it's way over 225. But just actual individual breweries, about 153-ish currently.
Yeah, and so
a lot.
And it's a steep market because there's a lot of like those top tier breweries that a lot of people just kind of like only go to.
Yeah.
And so if your brewery starts becoming stale, people get used to what's coming out. They start not coming in as much. And so that's why I have released for the next month. Every Friday, we're going to have a new beer come out.
Oh, wow.
Which is why I don't ever go out much.
Yes, yeah, exactly. When you're responsible for brewing 35 different beers in a year, it keep you on your toes in 52 weeks.
But you do have a really good like core fan base of regulars. I've noticed it when like every time I'm there, I kind of see the same faces there. You guys have really good, just like are you guys considered like a brewery? Do you think, or because
Remy's great with people.
And
a lot of
freaking rad. A
lot of people go to breweries and they get shit service. They get like what do you want?
Yeah.
or like
that's
a
not
guy
there.
gets
Yeah.
upset that you
Table.
want a splash of beer.
I do that all the time.
Hey, man, when you deal
That's
when you deal
Abel
with 500
shtick.
people, I get it.
Yeah.
It's me and Troy, the true grumpy old man. Me and
That's
Troy.
Abel shtick, dude.
Guys,
He walks up
Oh,
and he
yeah.
just looks you up and down, and then he's like, "Well, what do you want?"
Yeah.
And if you know,
No,
he's to the next
not
person.
even that. I just go, you want a pupil, you want a harlot. That's all you're getting.
Grumpy old men's your guys' next release. That could be one of the society guys.
Yes, exactly. That's right. The grump.
The grump.
Yeah, the grump.
That's right.
It'll just have a picture. It'll be a silhouette of me and Troy back to back.
For sure,
Yes.
total
Hello,
back to back.
label
Yes,
The
yes.
label is set.
for the hate of the people.
Oh my god.
But yeah, so Remy's great with people. It's a nice,
Okay.
warm environment.
So you keep saying Remy. Tell like we know who Remy is, but the people don't know who Remy is.
Give
So
the
can you
people what they
please-
want.
Yeah.
Remy's the majority owner. It's literally me and Remy as the only two employees here. So he has a lot of work on his back. He's actually from France, the Flemish area, which is kind of why we have a Belgian beer on tap. I've actually never brewed a Belgian style beer in my life. And it kind of scared me a little bit when he's like, I want one. This is actually my favorite style of beer to drink all the time, so I hope it comes out good. And I was like,
No pressure. No
yeah,
pressure.
I'm going to just dive into all these books and forums I found. But yeah, he is the majority owner. He's the guy you probably see at the bar all the time.
Yeah.
And he's the welcoming face of Hopnonymous.
That's cool.
Totally.
That's awesome. Let's catch up with our audience. Trisha, thanks for joining us. We appreciate it. And then it looks like we got into some freaking candy fights.
See
Nestle
what
Crunch
we
Minis.
started? You see what we started?
Kit Kat's better than Twix. Is it better than Nestle Crunch? That's a strong statement, Matt. Of course, he follows it up with the
Fight me.
almighty fight me. Maggie's all Reese's. Trisha
is.
jumps in on the Reese's and
That's my fiance.
oh, that's awesome! Right on, backing you up.
Are we talking plain M&Ms or peanut M&Ms?
Peanut.
Oh,
Peanut
yeah.
M&Ms.
Peanut.
Put your hands together.
Candace sided with her friend instead of with her husband.
Most divided. Damn.
Speaking of fiancés, you're supposed to sing for it. That's all right.
Yeah.
No, you don't want
Sing
that.
Return to the Mac. Come on. Congratulations
No,
on
no,
your
no.
engagement.
I gotta
Congratulations
be
on your
drunk to
engagement,
do
by the
karaoke.
way.
Thank you. I
That's
appreciate that.
Go see Maggie if you can and have some delicious mead. You will enjoy.
What meadery does she Lost Cause?
Yes.
She is.
Yeah,
She is at Lost Cause,
Meadery.
yeah.
So in the same little complex with Deft and that cool wood-fired pizza place. Go have a pizza, hang out on the patio.
Caprese.
Yes,
Yeah.
there you go.
And they're doing stuff with butternut squash right now. So, yes.
Ooh.
Mhm.
Yeah, I love
Mhm.
Lost Cause. I actually
Yeah.
met the owners back when I was at McKellar, and I was kind of like, there it is. Someone
Somebody
got it.
sang Return to the Mac.
Thank you, Brandon.
And I met them. They were super
Okay,
duper
so
rad.
for the record, I have heard the song. Now that
Of
I've
course
heard
you have. Yeah.
Everyone's
Everybody
heard
has.
it. They just don't know who it's from.
Yes, exactly.
If you
Legally,
ever
though, we
gone,
can
if you ever
only play
gone
that
to a
much.
wedding, you've heard that song.
Of course. Yeah.
Yeah.
Number one in London, 16 weeks straight. Just kidding.
So
Only
Maggie-
16? Jeez.
Maggie is sensitive about drinking IPAs out of bowls, so we'll have to remember that the next time we hang out.
We'll make fun whenever we want, Maggie. It's fine.
That's
Is she drinking
awesome.
mead? Is she drinking meads out of bowls or what?
Oh, that'd be pretty heavy. That'd be pretty heavy.
That's a blackout.
Wow.
I got to try this super dank, and we got some backup from Daniel. That super dank is great, and apparently Matt went and saw the grump, and got
Just
some
one.
beer.
Just one.
And
Just one of the grumps.
Daniel suggests that maybe it should be the Hermit.
Oh,
That's really cool.
All right.
And,
All right.
The Ill Rev comes in with Twix. Yes, we mentioned that earlier. Twix do rule, and then yes, of course. M&Ms and the dark and white chocolate. You know,
The left Twix.
yes, the left is good. So
Always the left side.
I can't eat M&Ms, and if I've never told this story, it's kind of short. But when I was a Boy Scout, no, but when I was a Boy Scout, which I was for my entire life, we often would sell candy as a fundraiser. And this one time, I ate 60 boxes of M&Ms in one day that I was supposed to sell at $3 a box. So then I owed my Boy Scout troop $180 because I made myself sick off of M&Ms. And to this day, which is 32 years later, I can only eat like 5 or 6 individual M&Ms before the candy flavor just makes me go. So there you go.
So now, guys, along with coconut beers, we need M&Ms for Brian.
Yeah. There's a
coconut M&M IPA.
With enjoy garnish.
We'll just call that one. We'll just call it the Beagle.
Yes. Take everything I don't enjoy and put it in a beer, and I'm sure it will sell great.
Nowadays, for sure.
Right? Joseph, I don't know if you were here for it or not, but 100 gram bars is what started the whole candy conversation, which is was Brandon's number 3 tonight.
We're gonna put up a poll on our Facebook page about candy bars and see what comes out to Victor. We have to see what comes out Victor, you know.
Apparently, people care about this more than I thought. Yes, indeed. So it's time to knock out some segments, and we start with what we drank. And this is a very complicated segment where we talk about the last beer we had before the show. So let's start with Hopnonymous. After you get it up there. Whoa. Oh, you got it first. He got it first. Catch you on the flip side.
He helped with that.
That's
yes. I my first time ever doing any type of brewing at all, and any function. Happened to be the Carl Strauss and Society collab. They invited me to go over there. I went there. I basically just threw some hops in, some grains. I didn't, and I just hung out and talked with them. But still, it was fun ass moment.
Did they make chicken adobo? No, they didn't. I bet.
No, they just gave me a bunch of free beer from Carl Strauss. But
all right.
But yeah, no, it's basically it's all like Southern Hemisphere hops, and it's got Citra in it, which because Pupil and Aurora have citrus, and so they wanted to collaborate that. And actually, it does have that very Pupil Aurora kind of taste to it.
Nice.
It's really good. It's got it's really a little funky, a little bit of dankness in the back end. But yeah, I was very happy with this, and I will bring one to all you guys next week.
So is that
maybe
at Carl
Hunter
Strauss? Is that at Carl Strauss? Or?
Yeah, it's at Carl Strauss. You can only get it at Carl Strauss, but
by the way,
I'm getting a case.
You don't have to worry about sharing with us, Abel. Carl Strauss already kicked down.
Okay, well there you go.
Why would you say that? Let him bring us here, Brian. Just let him.
That's all good.
We're gonna sit. We'll just have him give us Pupil. It's okay. We'll be okay. There's always more beer.
We got the new World of Wonders that just got released.
Oh yes,
too, so I'll bring that one for you guys next week.
Excellent. That sounds good.
Yay.
Also a lot of Southern Hemisphere, right?
Yes, that one's the Bruce, which is a Nelson kind of hybrid with and then Motueka and Tahiki hops in it.
Nice. I haven't had many Tahiki beers, so I'm looking forward to it.
Basically, it's a New Zealand Cascade, so it's a Cascade type hop, yeah.
Well, and the entire craft beer industry was built on Cascade, so having a little tweaked one sounds great. Yeah,
I love
beautiful.
Can too.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
It reminds me of Starburst. More candy.
Yeah,
more candy.
Yeah, exactly.
It's more like the fruit stripe gum.
Ooh, I haven't had that in a long time.
Yeah, the zebra stripe.
Yeah. All right.
All right, Hunter. Before jumping on air with us, what was the last beer you drank?
I had to make sure that Looks Super Dank was ready to go on tap, so I
sounds difficult.
Pulled a little pigtail of it for myself. It was pretty hard to not enjoy it.
Okay. All right.
So we got to go try this beer soon. Is what I'm hearing. But all right, Mr. Hernandez.
I had an Epic Brewing Schwarzbier.
Hey,
I
Oh,
yo.
nice.
really enjoyed it. It was so balanced, and I really like Schwarzbiers. And
Yeah.
I don't care what you think about how I say it, but I really like them. And I usually have them in other parts of the country that they made here in
Uh-oh.
Southern California. I'm glad that there's a resurgence of black lagers, but I just think theirs is really exceptional. Just so easy to drink. Nothing rises to the forefront. It's all the characteristics are right where you want them to be in concert. It's not roasty. It's not like cola. It's not sweet. It's just this really great neutral, savory black lager that is so
Nice.
drinkable. It's so drinkable. And it's under 5%, so it's like, yeah, I could just go hog wild on it.
And they finally put it in a fucking can. So
Yeah, Matt Black,
readily
baby.
available, and you can pick it up and take it everywhere. All right, Estella, what about you? What was the last thing you had?
I had a tie, guys.
No way.
Last thing I drank.
You
Drank
drank
them
So-
simultaneously.
You drank two things?
Okay. So,
She had a black and tan.
Brian, do you remember the story with this beer?
Yes, I do. That's awesome.
So, I've been drinking this beer since it came out, and
Inception.
Brian and I were at CCA, right?
Yes, in Long Beach.
Last
CCA.
year in Long Beach, and I ran to Brian and I'm like, Brian, they have like the Stone beer over here, and he's like, Estella. I'm like, they have it over there, Brian. He's like, Estella. And I'm like, they have it right over there, Brian. Let's go. And he's like, this is the owner of El Segundo Brewing right here. And I was like, hi, how are you? Oh,
Like she's trying to drag me away from the guys she should be talking to.
Yeah. That was a little bit embarrassing, but like I said, I was in LA this weekend, so I grabbed this from D.
Oh yeah,
and
so
we just discussed it, guys.
oh shit.
I don't know, can we?
Like what the?
Sorry, I hit the wrong button. Let's try again.
Yeah, yeah.
It's part of mi
Wow.
gente. Let's discuss.
Uh,
Oh my god! Brian's
he hates
fired.
me. He hates me.
No, it's not
Anyway.
you. It's not you.
So, like I said, this is Beer Thug Life and Indie Brew. And sent the package. I shared with the guys. You guys will get the beer eventually, but I didn't include this because I loved it and I kept it for myself. So sorry.
That's really cool.
That's awesome.
So yeah, but it's really, really good, refreshing. It's just a great beer. I love this. I love this can. It's gorgeous.
Yeah, I remember when
It
you saw
speaks
it.
to
It was
me.
like right off the bat. You love that. That's so
Yeah.
cool that you have it in
Yeah.
physical, like with you. That's cool.
Yeah.
And
So yeah.
so I too was following this trend of being thankful that Indie Brewing Co. loves us and sent us all mixed 4-packs, and I went with Life's a Beer Garden.
Yes.
You know, it's
Yeah.
a classic fest beer, easy drinking, disappeared before I realized I had opened it type of situation. And I think I was actually finishing it right before we opened the first beer of the show. I actually drank it like
Yeah.
at this location. It's really good.
Yeah.
And
So yeah, the beer company. Like seriously, thank you. I got there with a couple of family friends, and they were so welcoming. And then they were like, "Stella, your beer," and I was like, "Oh hi, thank you." Okay, I'm walking out with a case of beer. Great guys, thank you. So yeah,
sometimes that happens. It
Yeah.
happens around here. So
It's a good day.
Yeah.
it is a good
Yeah.
day. Okay, this is the moment we've all been waiting for since we switched to live streaming.
Oh my
I
God.
finally fucking figured out how to do voicemails in a way that everyone can hear them, and I saved the audio from the one that was bad. So first we are going to start with a voicemail that should have played during our second anniversary from Garen Varner. You may recognize his name. This is the patron that more than doubled his pledge in honor of Patron for Life Larry Smith, to just, I guess, basically absorb the support Larry used to give us, which is very sweet indeed. But here we go from our second anniversary, Garen Varner.
Hi, Indie Beer Show. Happy second anniversary. Looking forward to that third season. especially with things coming and being the way they are. Just get ready to watch the live Facebook events going on in exactly 5 minutes. Stopped into Vine Vine, said hi to Joey, and grabbed a mixed pack of beers. We'll be opening up on the live event starting in about 5 minutes. Love you guys. Miss you guys. Have an amazing, amazing second anniversary podcast video feed. And here's to year 3. Oh, and by the way, this is Darren Varner, Patron, long time Patron. Love you guys. Can't wait to see you guys in a few minutes. Bye.
Cheers
Aw,
to you, Garen.
yeah.
I really
So
appreciate it,
great.
and it was a great message for our second anniversary. I'm sorry we didn't get to play it at the time. As you see, I had to turn the voicemails into videos so that when I play it, the audience can hear it. There are some learning curves with switching your entire show format, and this is one of them. So thank you, Garen. We really appreciate it. And more importantly, your tribute to Larry is just very touching and awesome.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
now we also have a second voicemail, which is insane, which means that we have now had 2 people leave us voicemails since Greg from Stone.
Never happens. Never happens. Never.
You'll recognize this guy, but he really called in with a great thing for the industry.
Indie Beer Show. It's Travis from San Diego, former 3-time Indie Beer Podcast co-host of the year. That's not important. I wanted to shout out a local charity if I could, and it might be able to help some people that we know that are in the industry that obviously would listen to your show. Group is called Big Table. I'll send you all the info if you want. You can link it up, and they also might be able to help out with some of the charity stuff that you do and that Brandon does. But I reached out to them to see if there was any way that I could help spread the word, and they were actually able to help me out with some grocery bills, which is totally something that I wasn't looking for, but they were kind enough to do so. So I know that that can stretch out to people that we know in the industry as well. It's a referral-based type of business, and they're a nonprofit, and they basically help out people that are in the service industry. Obviously, several people that we know have been displaced with all the COVID stuff, and people have lost jobs and had to even kind of change their career path and that type of thing. But it's Big Table. Like I said, it's referral based. So if we hit them with a bunch of referrals from people in the industry, maybe we can get some good karma going out some people's way. So big-table.com. They have a couple of different places around the country, but they do have a San Diego-based location. So just wanted to shout them out and see if we can get some good vibes going to all of the listeners that continue to listen to your show. Love your show. Love yours. Bye.
Thank you, Mr. Hudson.
That's so great.
Right. So
Aw,
he's right. We know a lot of
Travis.
industry people that have fallen on tough times. So if you know any,
Of course.
make sure you point out to them big-table.com/San-Diego. They are helping anyone in the service industry, hospitality, brewing, anything that's connected with the service industry. And it's so nice to hear that they're helping people with what's most important, putting food in their belly. So that's really cool, man. And especially as Maggie points out, for a Bears fan, that was a really good voicemail. So it was really cool. It was really cool.
Maggie, damn, Maggie.
We're all friends here. We're all friends here.
Yeah.
So we are about to jump into beer 3, which is Slammin San Diego.
Yay!
Hunter, break this beer down for us.
Yay!
I've already got it, and so Estella is demonstrating the crowler art that we're all enjoying, which is really cool. We're big fans of crowlers. And
Yay!
so Brandon, do that again. Show us the color. Ooh, see, got some clarity, but a little foggy. I would call it foggy.
Yeah.
So
the whole idea of the beer is that I wanted to do a smash style unfiltered IPA. And it was supposed to only originally be just Strata. But when I was pulling the bag out, I noticed the bag was a little light. And so it ended up becoming a blend of 3 hops. It's Strata, Enigma, and Cashmere. Now, the joke that we have is that we call it the hybrid because it's a blending of West Coast brewing tactics as well as New England style brewing tactics. So the malt base is Pilsner malt, and we use juicy yeast. That's the only malt and yeast, or that's the only malt we use. And then we use juicy yeast, which I got from Harlan, who always helps me out. I love those guys there. I appreciate everything they do for me.
Yeah.
And so the name of the beer actually came out because the day I was brewing, which happens a lot, honestly. I was watching the Padre game, and it was the game that Tatis hit the grand slam on a 3-0 full count pitch with the bases loaded, and people were super pissed off about it. And I was like, ooh, smash beer, like Slam Diego, like try and work that in. And I'm from San Diego my whole life. I'm a lifetime Padres fan. I went to both World Series games. Where we had to face the best Yankees team ever assemble. Fuck you, Yankees.
Yeah, right. Forever. Fuck the Yankees.
Yes. Yes.
And so now that I had lived through 14 years of shit since the last playoff game, I was like, okay.
Yeah.
And 22 years since we won a playoff game.
Yeah.
It was a long wait for this year.
And I'm like, okay, let's make a beer that's like semi-yellow, try and match like the nice brown and yellow jerseys that we have going.
Yeah.
And so when we're making it, it has a bittering addition and a first wort, which is not generally used in a hazy recipe. But we mashed in at a hazy temp at around 154. And then we gave it a humongous whirlpool and an even bigger dry hop. We let the temp rise to what I would consider like a hazy style IPA, around 72 to 73. Just to kind of like blend those two styles of beer, notes that people really like a nice little bit of juice. It's not like super thick. It's got a nice dryness to it. It's got a little bit of bitter notes, not like overwhelming to where you would think it's the West Coast. Nice 7.2, still up there. And it's got a nice haze, actually, for only being Pilsner malt and the yeast strain that we chose.
Yeah, so no flaked oats or red wheat or anything that would... All right, cool.
Actually, I learned it from Great Notion that they use actually only Pilsner for their hazies. And they were telling me when I went up there to Oregon that it has a crazy high protein to it. So if you don't biofine it, you actually can get a pretty, like Swiffle beers, basically. You know, that's a Pilsner beer, but it looks like a hazy. And so it has that like haze look without the haze feel.
I would say it's like it's got a juicy quality, but not the pillowy, soft mouth feel from really soft water. But it's really cool.
And for us, we have a very large group of people who like their traditional West Coast. And so I wanted to actually kind of make a beer that I could kind of like, you know, shimmy those people in the direction of the hazy gospel. Be like, hey, it's good. Like, try it. It doesn't always have to be bitter. You don't have to prove you can drink a 80 IBU IPA to anyone. You could enjoy a nice like pineapple flavor from hops and not fruits. Like, and so when we made that, we've actually had a lot of people who only drink Planet of Attack be like, this is actually kind of good. And hoping when they come back in, be like, why don't you try the hazy now? Like, see how you feel about it.
Yeah.
That's really cool, man. Well, I really enjoyed it. It's got enough of a bitterness that it reminds you of a West Coast, but it also has a juicy quality that, again, it's not shocking to me that you're calling this a hybrid beer because it's got qualities from both ends of the spectrum.
Yeah.
Hybrid. Because
Oh, yes.
everyone jumped on the Padres bandwagon, so I had to make sure to give a little shot at people for all the new jerseys I was seeing around town all of a sudden.
Yeah.
You know,
Don't shake your head. You don't
the
get to make fun of baseball up there.
I didn't buy a jersey. I bought a jersey, but it wasn't for me.
You bought it for his roommate.
but it looks great on Danielle. Like
As
it
I
does.
said, I bought it for her.
It looks great, and she was so happy. She was so happy.
I got my 3 Astro jerseys in the closet right now, so I'm good.
I will fully admit, though, if next year we're allowed to go to the stadium and it's difficult to get tickets because of the hype, I will complain. Even though I've been a lifetime Padres fan and all I've ever wanted was a sold-out stadium for the guys, I'll be pissed if it's hard for me to get.
Well, they're just going to blame it on COVID. They're going to say the prices went up because they have to catch up from last year.
Yeah. So I do have
that $1 million contract that Tatis is going to get too. They need to
$700,000 he has right now.
He deserves it. He deserves.
So
give him the money. Give him the money.
It's kind of cracking me up that everyone's all freaked out about sign Tatis. We have several years to sign him. The negative is every year, if he keeps being Tatis, it's gonna double his eventual salary. So it's all about. At the same time, this guy's amazing, but he hasn't played an entire season yet. I mean, he's played 142 games. I hope he continues to be this guy. But if they don't get an extension done before the next season, calm down, San Diego. We're okay. We got 3 more years after that to get it done. So it'll all be okay.
Right.
At the same time, if they want to throw $400 or $500 million at this kid, it might end up being a bargain.
I mean, San Diego has a history of being as I've watched through the years, MLB's farm team.
Yes, exactly.
Like,
exactly. That's why.
You're nice. Let me just take you to the Red Sox. We don't need to pay all that money to have good players. We'll just get the next 19-year-old to come swing a bat and sell a $20 hot dog and $15 beer, and people will show up.
Yeah. So the other Brandon that shows up all the time, Yerxes, he pointed out for season ticket holders, they were able to get next year for the same price.
Yeah, they did.
Which my company has season tickets, and I knew that. But what I'm getting at is once it goes wide ticket sales next year, I think all estimations of price are going to go out the window.
Oh yeah.
I'm just saying you're overestimating San Diego. They don't show up. Like
if we're winning, we show up.
I was going to say, I think
we show up.
That's why like the first game of the season is always sold out, and then that's it.
And then, but if we
Brendan, we can't hear you.
Did we lose Brendan?
Can't hear you.
Oh no, we lost Brandon. How dare you?
I can't hear.
I'm like, I can't hear you. Okay. He'll be back in a second.
There you go.
He'll be back in a second.
I can't see you, Brandon. Where'd you go? I can't see you.
This is pretty important too. Travis points out you're not wearing a black tank top. Well, Lakers did win the world fucking championship.
It's underneath. It's underneath, bro. But my boys, of course. I mean, come
my
on.
God.
And by the way, I don't wear a jersey. I don't. Like, it's just not me. I choose to not pay $70 more for a women's jersey than a guy's jersey. I just don't.
So Stella, so you're all over the place, right? You got the Lakers jersey on, you got the Seattle Seahawks blanket behind you, and you're saying that you're a Padre fan.
Yeah. So the Seattle Seahawks thing, that's Thomas. So
random.
Thomas is like hard. Yeah, I can hear you. Yay.
You're back.
But I mean, you guys know my teams. You guys know my teams. So this is just it's Thomas. It's not me. So
yes.
I like to play mine real close to the vest.
Yes, it's really hard to figure out who Brandon supports. Very difficult.
He likes pumpkins.
Yeah.
David
So-
S. Pumpkin.
David S. Pumpkin.
Yes.
Any questions?
So we all know that to be in operation and to have people at your tasting room, you have to now serve food. So who have you guys partnered with for the food entity of your brewery? And then number two, what are a few of your favorite dishes that they make?
So we have actually kind of like a rotating lineup. We work with PT Eatery, who is like the first person we actually worked with pre-COVID. You come in, we have a menu. They deliver straight to here. They're actually one of San Diego's oldest Vietnamese restaurant. PT Eatery is a split off of Pho Tron.
Oh, that place is great.
Yeah, and so this PT Eatery is like the not Americanized, but they have like different dishes. Like what I order, they have a banh mi brisket, which is a French faux dip, I guess they call it. It's a banh mi where they take a bone marrow spread on the bread, and then they give you the beef pho soup as like an au jus dip.
What?
It's amazing, and it's only $9, which is, I mean, a pretty sweet deal.
For bone marrow? Oh.
They just do, it's like a spread, like a mayonnaise bone marrow, like mixed spread that they put on the bread.
That's still cheap. That still ain't cheap.
Yeah.
Do they sell this bone marrow spread by the pound? Cause
Possibly. You gotta go into PT and
Coming from the guy that ate all the M&Ms when he was a kid.
Right.
Oh my god, that's
and then
rad.
we also not this week, but next week we'll be starting a Taco Tuesday with Cali Craft Tacos. But honestly, Fridays are my favorite day.
That
we
barbecue?
partnered. That is the barbecue.
It is. The barbecue's so good, guys.
It's called Full Belly Barbecue. His actual main business is he goes around to like markets. So if you're ever in Oceanside on a Thursday afternoon and you want some delicious barbecue, he works that market right by the pier. But he does the full gambit, which is nice because a lot of times you go to a barbecue truck and they just have the meat and like a couple sides. But he does like brisket, baby back ribs, pulled pork. He does what I get mostly is called the Moink Burger, which is a cheeseburger with a hot link cut in half and put on it. It's amazing.
Yeah.
He's got like all his sides are great. And he's been like actually our most consistent guy. He comes every Friday for us, which is great because we always have a release on Friday. So having like that there, you go to a house at a party and they're serving barbecue, you're going to drink beer. You go to a brewery and they have barbecue. A lot of people are going to sit and have a couple beers.
Yeah.
And, barbecue and beer just kind of goes hand in hand. We also have a pizza company we just started working with on Saturdays who does Romanian style pizzas. So it's not like your traditional like rollout dough. It's kind of like this nice airy, not like focaccia, but like it's got a nice crust to it. And it takes like 3 or 4 minutes because he has a really high powered small oven. So you're not like sitting there forever waiting for your food.
That's cool.
Nice.
Plethora of
rad,
options.
Yeah, well, we try, like we said, we're small, so trying to lure people into the brewery is our number one goal.
Yeah.
That's really cool, man. And some great news for anyone that doesn't like the Dodgers. They're getting their ass kicked. Anyways,
I keep looking down at the score. Like,
it's looking very nice. So,
any questions?
Yes. So you mentioned that you for the rest of the year you're releasing a new beer every Friday.
Yes,
and yeah, of course, there's going to be hiccups, but So how often do you think you're producing new beers? Is that like an almost twice a weeky thing, a once a week thing?
It's so I try to brew at least once a week. Sometimes I squeeze in a style of beer that I know is going to turn really fast, like our kettle sours or our blonde, because I know that it's going to be done in 11 days in a keg on the 12th. But yeah, pretty much most of the styles that come out are something new and different that I'm doing. For our anniversary, which is December 12th, it will be our first year. We'll be a little 1 year old. I'm going to release a hazy triple IPA with peaches called Estella. You'll love this because you like that Stone Cold beer. Stone Core Stunner hazy triple IPA.
Nice.
Yes.
So I'll be like,
I have a question for you when we're done talking about this, but go ahead.
Yeah. And then we because of Remy's French connection, there is a brewery out there who won the I believe it's the European version of like GABS for their saison. We're going to do a virtual collab with them and work on a saison recipe, and then we're going to virtually collab on their side and do a hazy IPA recipe. And then in a couple weeks, I'll be rebrewing with a slight twist. Milk was a good choice. Our Imperial Milk Stout, which I'm hoping I have a small batch 4 Roses barrel coming my way.
Wait, what?
Yes. We're finally going to start our clean side barrel system, our barrel program, which will be released for our 2nd year anniversary.
Nice.
And then after that, we might try and squeeze in like a seasonal style. My dad's from the Midwest. One of my favorite like Christmassy beers that I ever had is from Lakewood Brewing Company. It's literally just called Christmas Ale. And it's amazing, like slightly spiced. However, San Diego is not as open to very malt forward beers, unless it's a pastry stout with a bunch of M&Ms and coconuts and all kinds of shit inside of it. So pushing a Christmas ale on someone is kind of hard nowadays. But we will continue to make new styles of beer. Obviously, hazies will be rotating as we sell it out. We have a rebrew of one of my favorite beers coming up. Everything's Jazz, and I'm Stockton, which is our San Diego style IPA, heavy Citra mosaic, just all the cheater hops that make the beer good.
Yes.
But yeah, so hopefully we can get that barrel within the next couple of weeks. And we also met with Sola Terra, one of their vintners today, about getting possibly some French oak for the saison.
Exciting.
Because I love saison beer. Like that was once I got into the industry and I found out like there's actually good like saison or European style beers that people enjoy. I've always wanted to make them. But in San Diego, the saying goes, saison stays on.
Yeah.
And
don't proliferate that. Nobody knows but the people in the industry. So if you share it.
Well, if you
Don't
put it in
that
a barrel with some nice grape ganache on it changes how people view it. You just call it a farmhouse.
Right, exactly.
Yes.
Good job. Bravo.
Thank you.
We'll change the motto to Saison sells on, and then people will just start.
There you go. Nice.
That's right, man. That's a terrific peek into the future, current, past, and future again of Hopnonymous. That's freaking great. I got so excited about making voicemails work. We completely skipped our number 2. So let's go backwards this time. Mr. Hernandez, your second favorite thing about Halloween.
This is gonna shock you.
No way.
I love sitting in my driveway on a fold-up chair with my wife and drinking beer while people come up and get candy. And one thing I really love too is that I kind of like a switch flips, and I switch to malty beers. And get this, even sometimes we drink pumpkin beer because it's the one night. It's the one night of the year where it's almost acceptable. So we do it. Now we don't like advertise because
Yeah.
I got some. We got
Because
some
of that
street cred to
reaction we
protect.
just gave you.
Right.
But-
right.
But no,
Yeah.
it's just
But
fun
which
to sit there
pumpkin
and have.
beer? Which
Yeah.
pumpkin beer are you choosing, though?
Usually it's like I don't know. One year we had a barrel aged pumpkin barley wine, but not too many of the like.
That's
We're not doing like shipyard pumpkin or something like that, or maybe pumpkin or rumpkin or something like that. But
Yeah.
usually it's a special
Rumpkin's
pumpkin beer.
amazing.
Yeah, that makes for a short night. Kids come up and
Yeah.
hey,
It's
why
like
don't you just
16%,
take all
right?
this candy? You're so cute. Besides, I'm tired. You know.
Yes, indeed. Please
But,
take all my candy.
Yeah. So I like that tradition. It's fun to serve the kids and serve myself.
That's awesome,
Nice.
man. It's great. I've many times I have seen that father that clearly needs it and been like, "Need a beer, bro?" And just dad can
You're like
trick or treat too.
You're like, I got a
Yeah.
jack-o'-lantern for you.
Yeah.
All right, Estella, number 2.
So it's really funny you said that, Brandon, because for me, it's being at my mom's house, which we call the compound, and we'll all go there. And my niece's birthday on the 30th, so we celebrate her birthday. But I love to see the kids in costumes because then I give the parents a beer. I'll usually have a stole that we're sharing that night. So I see a lot of friends and they cry and they just look, they're just done. And I'm like, trick or treat for you? And they're like, fuck yes. So I'm giving candy to the kids and beers to the adults. And that's what we do in Barrio Logan. So that's my favorite part. That's my favorite
That's
part.
rad.
I tried
Yeah.
Rancho Bernardo, but they're too uptight. Like nobody will take the beer. I had a 6-0 of AleSmith X one year when I worked over at AleSmith, and I was like, "Hey guys, I got beer. You guys want some? I got plastic cups." They're like, and all the dads were just kind of like, look at their wife to the side, like, no, that's okay.
They're like, go on, kids. I got time. I can.
I didn't give them one beer, so I like your neighborhood. That sounds fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Barrio
Go down
Logan,
to the,
baby.
go down to the corner.
Barrio
I'll catch up.
Logan.
Yeah, that's right. My hood is very receptive to the beers as well, but
Yeah.
it's cool.
Yeah.
What about you, Hunter? Number 2.
So I'm a dog guy, and I used to have a bunch of wiener dogs when I was growing up. So they have this event called Hall of Wiener, where they basically take dachshunds and they race them against each other in costumes. It's amazing, especially with a couple beers in you. And you start just cheering like it's a dog and pony race for these little doggies.
That's awesome, man. And I think Tom, who was on Beer Night in San Diego, I think he has participated in that before. Or he at least has posted pictures of his wiener dog in a hot dog outfit. So that's at least that close. At least that close. That's really cool. Mr. Abel, number 2, sir.
Mine's seeing all the people's decorations at houses and stuff. Like just have people putting up their own like ghosts, or they'll have a theme of like, some type of from a movie, like, Saw or something like that. So they'll have like Jigsaw sitting on the front of their porch, or some of them will have like little haunted houses themselves. Like they'll bring it out into the driveway and the kids can run through it. So it's always been that kind of stuff. Like seeing people's creative ideas of trying to build something scary or spooky, like the witch that's being dragged on the trunk of a car or something,
That's right. Yeah, and I agree. Decorations are great, and get in the spirit.
Yeah.
When you can, I understand if this year is different and you don't want to. It's a pain in the ass. I get it. Yes, indeed. So for me, similar to Brandon, kind of a tradition-y thing that we do at our houses, and actually Hunter mentioned it earlier too, is horror movie-a-thon. So we try to watch at least one horror movie a day during October. We are kicking ass. We're already at 34 movies and both of the Haunting of series in Netflix. So
that show's awesome.
yeah, it's October 15th. COVID's helping. COVID's helping
Yeah.
with the getting those movies in, but we do a full array. So for anyone listening that wants to watch a stupid 80s horror movie, please look up Chopping Mall, and that's with CH. 1986 killer robot security guards in a shopping mall. It's horrible.
Are there
Have
Valley
the-
Girls?
Yes, absolutely. But have your beer ready, or the funny cigarettes. If you do that too, that really helped. Horrible movie. That being said, if you want a crazy puppet horror movie, and I'm not kidding, check out Head. I'm not sure whether it's Netflix or Prime, but it's ridiculous.
I'm a big fan.
Of Head, yes, I'm sure you are. But
Welcome back, Estella.
yeah. So,
I think I came back at the wrong time.
5 stars, 2 thumbs up.
just in general, if you want some good or horrible horror movie recommendations, hit me up and we'll take care of that. But that leads us to possibly the biggest news week this year, and strap in,
Go,
strap
Brandon,
in, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Hernandez, break it down.
All right.
Ooh, hey.
So, it's kind of funny. Last Thursday, we were talking about, I always say the name incorrectly. I'm Michelani? Is that
Yes.
correct?
Honey.
Okay, great. Oh,
Yeah.
wow. I got it.
Yeah, many. Yeah. You got it.
Okay. All right, great.
I just say Pat.
So,
I say Pat and Val.
So Pat, Val, Sean, and company are all looking as we've talked about in the past, trying to get back the old 2 suites for Alpine Beer Company, where they formed that company back in 1999, before Green Flash took over. Well, they have secured those 2 suites. They've got them. There's a sign up in the window. It comes down on October 30th, so that's all good news. But last week, Brian was telling us how they had missed out on the opportunity to get their original brewing system, but that's okay.
At least it seemed like it, yeah.
Yeah, and it did. But apparently that's not the way it went, because the very next day, this is how fast this news changes around here with the San Diego beer, Sean won it at auction. Now, there is a chance it still might not go through for other reasons that are beyond their control. We'll see. But things are moving along for now. And good news is it doesn't take too long to brew a good IPA, is what Pat says about when they're approved, when that sign comes down, how long it will take them to get moving. They know
22 days from the time they brew to the day they're open. That's how long it takes. 21 to make the beer, 1 day to keg, and we're off to the races.
And they are working on trying to make the place look like the way they want it to. So that might take a little bit of time too. But as far as the beers are going to make, Pat was saying expect some lagers, IPAs, of course, some stouts, specialty one-offs. And then he, jokingly says, I might try my hand at a rye IPA that has Nelson Sauvin in it.
Maybe.
Just maybe. I might see what I can do. It'll be interesting to see how that goes for sure.
It sounds like an interesting style to try.
Yeah, definitely. I hear good things about Southern Hemisphere. But Original 40, shifting over to North Park, a brew pub over there. They've had one brewer since they started, which was just about a year and a half ago. Chris,
You're gonna say his name. That's twice.
Chris
That's twice.
Giggles. We don't say it 3 times.
It's twice. It's twice.
Yeah, the third time he shows up, so be careful.
He shows up. He shows up.
He shows up and wins the Sorai Cup. God damn it.
God damn it.
So that
Who
guy
voted for that?
isn't going to be winning the Sorai Cup anytime soon, because he's moving out of beer brewing to cider making over at Utopia Cider, where he'll be head cider maker. And has no professional experience doing this, but that's kind of par for the course for Utopia people, because they've hired a lot of people from the brewing industry to go in there and do what they do over there in Swiss Ranch, and it's worked out great. I happen to think they're the best cider makers in town. I really enjoy their avant-garde styles and think they do a great job incorporating hops and things like that as well. But taking his place will be Cosmo Sorrentino from Monkey Paw. made a giant splash, such a big personality in the San Diego beer scene. Before he left for Europe to go to some place that Hunter
It's
might
called
be
Tool.
semi-familiar with. Denmark, Copenhagen. But he came back. He was helping out at Kilowatt a little bit, but it wasn't a surprise when that guy can't say the name turned in his resignation. So there had been a plan in place, like, hey, let's figure out what we're going to do. Good for him. That's great that he's going to go do that, but we have to have a plan in place. And they got in touch with him, and so everything's just kind of going to be a nice little seamless transition because they're friends.
So cool.
Those two get along great.
Not only is it seamless because they're buddies, but Cosimo had been helping Chris a lot at OG40. So doing a lot of the cellar work and Cos, to his credit, even though he is a, very renowned brewer and very award-winning brewer, he is a real brewer. He has no hesitation jumping on a keg washer or taking a job to help out a buddy running the cellar. So he was already familiar with OG40's beers. It's a very smooth transition.
Yeah.
Congrats to Chris for taking on a new adventure.
That's a third time.
I didn't say his last name. It's okay.
Or his nickname. Just
all
that guy.
So,
but okay, so I'm gonna say Brandon and I were fortunate enough to collab with Cos on the Black is Beautiful at Kilowatt. So yeah, I'm super happy for him. I'm super excited that he's gonna be that place where I can go visit him all the time. So that's news to me.
Well, and
tell him I said hi.
Yeah, I will.
Even Steve, the owner of OG40, is excited, and he's like, I don't know if I've ever heard of a situation like this where it was win-win-win. Like, Chris wins because he's going to do something new and exciting. Cosmo wins because he's got a stable job in San Diego, so they're going to make him stay here. And Steve wins because it's not like there's a downgrade to Cos. I mean, Cos is going to be able to keep their beer quality just as high. Absolutely. And so I'm excited for one of my favorite places in North Park to have an exciting new phase. I said exciting 3 times in that sentence, so I'm going to shut up.
All right. Well, so going to what kind of beers you can expect there, it'll be a lot more of the same, and that he really loves the lager program that's there. He's looking forward to making hazies. This is Cosmo I'm talking about. But he also wants to try out some of his recipes as well, so it'll be what you've come to expect, plus a little bit more of whatever he decides to throw in the ring. That'll be great.
Rad.
Okay, and now on to today's 2-scoop raisin bran type of day.
Yes.
So Horse Aged Ales, a bottle club based brewery in Oceanside that has no public facing venue at all, not even a tasting room. You just come pick up your beers and hit the road, basically. They've already worked with Mason Ale Works in San Marcos to make a lot of their stouts that they use for barrel aging for all of their bottle club beers, but those two interests are getting together and making a joint venture. It's going to be called, what is that? It's really loud. Okay, so Ferris Falcon.
Like, not me?
No, I think it was at the tasting room where Hunter is. It's okay. We're all good.
I just had to make sure, because if I'm going to say the name of that business, I want to make sure people hear it. Because it's a weird name. Ferris Falcon. And not like Bueller, but like Ferris, like iron, which is supposed to be the nod to Mason, and then Falcon, which is the logo for horse.
Yeah. Feroz.
Wow. Oh, sure. Yes.
Yeah.
See.
Yeah.
So the thing that's special about this is that they're going to be focusing on unfiltered and hazy single, double, triple IPAs. But more than that, they're going to be focused on having satellite tasting rooms in various locations. And they will have not only these beers on, but also Mason Ale Works beers on. And not to put one above the other, but most interestingly, the Horus beers, which most people have never tasted because they only go in bottles and go off the club members. So they're going to be able to make more beer and have it available in all these places. They're going to probably go ahead and put in a satellite tasting room. Well, I guess this would not be a satellite, but a tasting room at Urge Common House in San Marcos. They have a library room they use for private events. They'll put it there. Then we have one that they're going to put in probably in that Carmel Valley space where they have the Mason Ale Works tasting room. I think they're going to go ahead and just like rebrand that as the 3. Yeah. And they're talking about downtown San Diego as well as Old Town Pasadena That's pretty interesting.
Orange County.
Pasadena? No, that's LA.
Or LA, yeah.
Yeah, that's LA. Yeah.
So
Wow.
this is all just like the first round, and it will have to wait until after COVID, obviously, for those kinds of things. But the club for Horace and the club for Mason are going to have first dibs at these beers, but there'll be enough for everybody to kind of have at the tasting room. So that'll be pretty cool. No real timeline on it, except that they already have the first beer made. It's a collaboration with Parish Brewing out of Louisiana, which I think is pretty cool. And they're going to be doing tons of collaborations with folks all over the planet, basically.
Yeah.
Lots of connections for the owner of Horace, and should be very exciting. Cool thing to have in North County.
So
Absolutely.
for those who don't know Old Town Pasadena, that's kind of like 30th Street in North Park. So in LA, you kind of to wherever you live, unless you want to go hang out, you go to Old Town Pasadena, which is one street where we do the Rose Parade. Basically, it's Colorado Boulevard, and it's all of the shops there, and like all these businesses are coming in there, and they're pushing out the smaller like mom and pop places. Bad, but they're trying to brand it into be like, this is where you're going to come and hang out. You're going to park and you're just going to walk around. So I can absolutely see why they're trying to get in there, because that's total sense. So I used to work on that actually way long.
Really?
PacSun, baby.
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah. We'd have to close the store, board it up for the Rose Parade, and then we'd go up on the roof and watch the Rose Parade. So it was pretty rad. Yeah. That was pretty cool. So, but yeah, sorry. Little LA.
No, I love it.
Little LA side note.
I like that color commentary. That's awesome. And so the second scoop is, so Escondido has this ginormous Disneyland of beer called Stone Brewing. Great. Awesome. But it also had the smallest brewery in the entire county. This little place that has 300 square feet of interior space, all of it devoted to brewery and cold storage. And then this big patio that kept getting extended for Escondido Brewing. That place was great, only open on weekends, couldn't make enough beer to really sate the clientele, but the people kept coming back because they loved it so much, especially the locals. Well, they'll be able to come back there again, but it's going to be run by a different group, Virgin Beer out of Carlsbad.
It's so awesome.
That's amazing.
It's so perfect. I mean, there's trees in this patio, so it's perfect, right? But they're going to use that as a pilot brewery. They're going to go ahead and make beers. Will be exclusively available.
What is that?
Apparently, we got a very important notification.
What was it?
Wow.
I don't know. Wasn't me.
I don't know. Anyway, all right. Continue. Sorry. Continue.
Okay. Well, no worries. They're going to take this place over. Pilot brewery called the Oasis. Have beers that are only available there that were brewed there. That'll be kind of fun. I'm excited because I'm in Rancho Bernardo, so I can finally get the Virgin on any kind of easy basis as soon as I can leave the house. But it's really exciting, and they're still moving forward with the Little Italy project over there on Cashmere Boulevard called the Arbor. Probably March for that, but then as far as Escondido, they're thinking late November, optimistically, but at the worst, early December. So just in time to holiday shop and then go get wasted responsibly.
Of course. Yeah.
But yeah, that was some news, and there was even more news to report. Really, there'll be a lot of stuff coming up next week as well. So follow San Diego Beer News. I'd really appreciate it. SanDiegoBeer.news. Go on the Facebook and the Instagram, the Twitter. Go on the Patreon if you want to. But yeah, just keep following. It's a lot of fun. There's a lot of great things happening. It's been a really fun week.
Yeah, that's rad, man. And speaking of Patreon, go to patreon.com/San Diego Beer News. $5 a month. You'll get everything Brandon publishes just a little bit before the rest of the world. Mm-hmm. And if you want to support us, we're at patreon.com/San Diego Beer Show. And if you support us at the pint level, which is $6 a month or more, I get to shout you out every episode.
Yay.
And so those amazing, yes, you help. And it's Shake and Bake, and I helped. And this week, those amazing people are Ben, Bill, Brian, Eli, Casey, Dan Diego's who's listening, Dante from Pariah, David Martin, former producer of the show and the second best producer we ever had on the show, Doug, Garen from Beer Alien, the guy that we played his voicemail earlier in the show. Thank you, Garen. You're awesome. Greg from Stone, not that one, but a different one. The Indie Beer Show, brand COVID-19 pandemic, socially distancing, Zorball LLC. Thank you, Maggie. I appreciate that. Hoppy Craftsman Podcast, James, Jared, Jason, Jess from Ale Tales, Joaquin from Quaff, Joseph Sokor, who's listening, Joey from Hoppy Beer Gear, Juan, Judith, the Beer Historian, Ken Learman. By the way, the third person to upgrade to annual membership. So that is a new option with Patreon. If you upgrade to paying for your membership annually, you get a discount that gives you 1 month free. So whatever tier you choose, you get a month for free.
All right.
Honorary patron for life, Larry Smith. We love you. Liz from Hoffbauer, Matt and Candace Bobino, who are listening. Matt from The Perfect Pour, Miguel Loza, who moved to Texas, but we still love you. Mr. Peacock, who we love. Mike Sahagan, Nathaniel, Norman, OC Brew Girl, shout out to you, lady. Pacific Beer Chat, who will be on the show next week.
Yeah.
These are our podcast buddies up in Canada, and so we're gonna drink on the show. We're gonna drink San Diego beers that they can get, which happen to be Arrogant Bastard Speedway Stout, which I saw Mr. Babino drink a whole bottle of. I don't know how you drink the whole thing by yourself, but that's cool. We're getting 16 ounces, and what did I say? Arrogant Bastard Speedway Stout. Oh, and Sculpin. So those are the 3 San Diego beers that they can get in Canada right now. Apparently, they used to be able to get some Modern Times and a couple other breweries, but COVID fucked all that up. So it's going to be kind of cool to revisit some of our award-winning local beers that, maybe a lot of us craft beer assholes overlooked because we had that 15 years ago, give or take. Yeah. So,
and I'll be at Ale Tales if anybody wants to come hang out and drink with me during the show.
Hey.
So, yeah.
A double collab. That's really cool. Robert from 13 Point, Rudy from Jolly Spaceship, who just released this killer design, a little banner to remind you to vote. So go check out jollyspaceship.com and get that. Sergio Nikos and Vegas Jay, who soon will be Portland Jay.
Are we going to change the name?
We have.
JDX
Yes, or Jortland Pay doesn't sound so good.
Jortland Pay.
We'll have to think it through. Anyways, Hunter, what is the best social media channel to keep up with everything Hopnonymous?
Instagram would be the best for us. We post pretty much daily, sometimes twice a day, about beers coming out. What food trucks we have, just like the happenings of being at the brewery. Facebook is secondary, and then we also kind of shoot out emails to our club members.
Cool.
That's rad, man. And we gotta knock out our number ones. Let's start with Estella. Your favorite thing about Halloween, lady?
I'm actually ridiculous about dressing up for Halloween. My costumes are my favorite thing. I've been Darla from Finding Nemo. I was Mexican Sandy from Greece. I was Miss Elizabeth, and Armando was Macho Man because he looks like Macho Man. I like to dress up for Halloween. That's my thing. I love Halloween. So yeah, dressing up for sure. My favorite thing. By far.
That is awesome. And you notice she didn't say anything scary or spooky. Those are very nice things to dress up for.
I think Carla's pretty scary. She almost Nemo, remember?
Yeah, almost.
Just saying.
It's also a cartoon, but whatever. All right, Mr. Hernandez, your favorite thing about Halloween?
Despite how much I love carving out pumpkins and putting them on my belt and having a dick in a pumpkin, which I've done 3 different years.
I am really shocked. That's awesome.
Well, keep in mind, and I hollow it out and cut the candy and let people take the candy out. One year I hooked a tap to it and I could dispense beer out of it.
Nice.
But
Wow.
despite that, I really don't like to dress up or spend time like dressing up, but I love the creativity of people who do, and it just makes the day so fun.
Like
The one thing
me.
I'll miss, yeah, exactly. Yeah, the one thing I will really miss about not, the only thing maybe I'll ever miss about not going to an office. No, I don't miss it that much even. Is seeing people come in all their stuff, and it's like one day of just silliness or fright. But I just love looking at people like you might not even expect it to be super creative. They surprise you, and it's really fun. And yeah, I'll be missing that this year. But send me pictures, Estella, of whatever you do.
Okay. This year's really good, actually.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
people's
Really
creativity is the best. Yeah.
All right, Hunter, number one.
Well, I love Halloween because most holidays are supposed to be wholesome and nice, and Halloween is the night where people not only support debauchery, they actually encourage you to engage in it, and it makes for a great relief before the end of the year. And it's just a great like secondary party night where everyone dresses sometimes with a dick and a jack-o'-lantern with a beer cap. And you never know what you're gonna get.
I got a pretty good idea.
And it's a great holiday. I just love everything about it.
Absolutely. All right, Abel.
I agree with Estella on that. It's all about dressing up, wearing costumes. Last year, I dressed up as the most interesting man. Or no, 2 years ago, I dressed up as the most interesting man in the world. Last year, I was Captain Obvious.
So good.
Then
So
3
good.
years before that, it was a beer man, super beer man. I had a costume and a bunch of beer cans wrapped around my hip, and yeah, I just do just random shit that people won't even think of. So it's like, I'm not gonna dress as sexy nurse this year. I'll dress up like the skeleton from Karate Kid, the skeleton guy. So
That's rad, man. That's awesome. Love it. So all of those were great. And all of that
but they weren't number one.
Are we wrong
number one. No, not wrong. Not wrong. Just you missed the bigger picture. And that's what I'm here to do, to close it out with the big picture thing. The big picture thing that's the best about Halloween is daylight savings time finally ends, and we get that extra hour of falling back and that lovely extra hour of sleep Sunday morning after Halloween. This year, it lined up perfectly with Halloween, so you get the extra hour of partying, I guess, if you're going to party. By the way, don't fucking party with other people. Keep it to your household, please, for the love of God. They did give strict guidelines. If you want to push the rules, 3 households, 12 people, socially distanced outside. And
They put that out there?
Yes,
But
this applies for Thanksgiving as well. So no more than 3 households, no more than roughly 12 people outside, socially distanced for gatherings is the maximum currently. Don't push the fucking maximum. Just
Come to Mead and 39th. I might have a keg beer.
Just
walk by. Drive
these messages could not be more.
Wait. Right. I guess we can't really say drive-through beer. Walk by for a beverage. But anyway, my favorite. Oh, that's a great picture.
Yes,
that's awesome, Abel.
With Stay Puft Marshmallow. Yes.
My favorite thing is
he's got a moose knuckle.
Oh,
Yeah, I was going to say that a marshmallow.
Thank you for burning my eyeballs. I'm definitely not zooming in on that. So,
wait, you can talk about dicks and pumpkins, but you can't look at a moose knuckle? My bad.
No. Yes.
The first time I think we've mentioned moose knuckle on the show, by the way.
With that cheery note, I am very appreciative for everyone that showed up, commented, said hi. We love you. Thank you for coming, audience. We really appreciate it. For Estella and the World Championship Lakers, Brandon Hernandez, Hunter, Abe, and the Astros that are still alive, and myself. I'm Brian, by the way. Apparently, I don't always say my name, but I'm Brian. Thank you for listening to the Indie Beer Show, and good night.
Bye.